Melva Questy here. Today we're exploring the world of career opportunities, and to do that, I brought my creator.
Thanks, Questy. Hi, everyone.
Okay, let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to once upon a time. You know that question everyone gets asked? What did you want to be when you grow up? If you're watching this, think about your answer for a second.
So, once upon a time, I had so many dreams. When I was about 5, I wanted to be either a writer or an evil scientist.
An evil scientist?
Yeah, not the take over the world kind, more like characters from those old 90s cartoons, like Dexter's Laboratory. I wanted the lab, the gadgets, and the dramatic evil laugh. If you remember who that is. But without actually being evil. I always thought it would be cool to have a lab and create technology that would allow me to travel across time and different realities. I would get this super cool dreams where my inventions came true and I was able to manipulate my age and have a watch that allowed me to step into first my favorite TV series like Pokemon or Dragon Ball, but then go into entirely different worlds with epic stories of action and adventure.
So basically, science nerd plus multiverse explorer?
Yeah, pretty much.
If you had that watch, what world would you jump to first? You don't have to say it out loud. Just lock it in your brain. So how did all that play out as you were growing up?
In primary school, I went to this really intense but fun school. We had like 12 different subjects and they were all important. We also had math competitions, art competitions, sports competitions, language contests, music and dance performances, social good challenges, and huge school fairs. And at the fairs, our classes had to come up with something in our classroom to raise money. I remember one class had their floor covered in paper mache, and they would hide small keys on the floor, and you'd pay for like 5 minutes trying to find a key, and if you found one, you'd get a prize. Now, it was extra hard because the lights were turned off, and because the room was pitch dark. So we'd get super into it, almost crawling around trying to find the keys, and if you found more than one, you'd get better prizes. Simple, but oh so fun.
That actually sounds like a video game side quest.
You bet. And also, in the school fair, we'd have those big celebrations with all the parents and family members, with the different awards people were winning and food, and oh my god, they had the best desserts. And as a kid, that made me pretty much like every subject. Well, almost every subject.
Uh-oh. What didn't make the cut?
Gymnastics. I remember I hated it. We had to do handstands, and Lil Me was just not built for being upside down. Nope. Feet on the ground, please, and thank you.
Ouch. Relatable. So, with all those competitions, did you ever win anything?
So, funny thing is, I don't actually remember winning anything back then. I remember getting a really good score on my German qualifying exam and once doing a feature duet for an end of the year performance where I had to wear a dress I really did not want to wear. There was also this group project where we had to build a mini model of our perfect city. And I think we might have won something for it, but honestly, I just remember the after-school group gatherings with my group for that project. And we were like 10. We'd go from getting sidetracked with Grand Theft Auto on a bulky computer to putting a pause on everything when the Dragon Ball Z episode of the day came out on Cartoon Network, where they were all screaming Kamehameha for like the 5th episode in a row, to getting my arms fully scratched when one of my friends decided that throwing his cat like a volleyball at us was a good idea. Please don't throw your cats around, people. And the only academic part of the assignment I remember was enjoying seeing what cities each group finally came up with. It really wasn't about winning. Like, having all of these experiences was the best thing ever.
That's kind of important. You weren't winning, but you were collecting experiences. If you're watching this, think about it. Is there something that you didn't win, but we're still glad you tried?
So I actually remember losing badly. One time, our class had to play basketball against an orphanage, and we had gone in some sort of service trip league, and we lost so badly. It was absolutely glorious. It was like being in one of those sports anime where you see the underdogs win, but from the side of the team that gets destroyed. And somehow, even with that epic loss, seeing the others' absolute dominance in the sport and how hungry they were to prove themselves was inspiring. And I was just honored that I was part of that story.
So a front row seat to watching the main characters and supporting them despite your tragic scoreboard?
Yep.
So, did all that make you change your career dreams?
Kinda. I switched schools for middle school and high school. And at the beginning, it was really sad that I couldn't have all these cool experiences I had at my previous school. I lost all of those fairs and wild events, but I joined band and a bunch of language classes and tried to fight my counselors to let me join as many clubs and classes as possible. I was basically trying to recreate that I get to try everything feeling. It wasn't the same without the community aspect, though. So I turned to video games and I got super good at them. Like world ranked for PvP even.
Okay, that's seriously impressive. If esports had been a thing back then, would you have gone for it?
Oh, 100% I would have done it as an extra thing. Being older, while my imagination was still giving me awesome epic fantasies of scientist, adventurer me, I took a pretty good liking to art and languages and a lot of different sciences. I went to a science camp at a university when I was 16 and a diplomacy summer program at another university when I was 17. And the science program made it very clear to me that I wanted to be a physicist. I also really loved drawing. I had massive ADHD, so most of my notebooks were littered with cartoons all throughout school. And with my imagination and gazillion storylines, I wanted to be an animator, but also a physicist.
Double class build. Respect. If you had to pick 2 dream jobs right now, what would they be?
And then I found out that to become a physicist, I'd have to take biology and dissect things. And one thing I found out is that me plus needles plus anatomy equals absolutely not. Like, I remember in science research class, we had to dissect a sheep eye. And if I didn't at least poke it, I'd fail. At the prospect of failing, I got my knife, I steeled my nerves, and went to get the sheep eye, only to get sheep eye goo coming out like a water jet at me. It was disgusting. I think the teacher took pity and I was able to pass successfully, but needless to say, the hate for another repeat of that was enough for me to completely take away physics out of my mind.
Yeah, that sounds like a very dramatic way to learn something about yourself.
Yeah, so that left animation.
Okay, this sounds promising, but I feel a but coming.
Yeah, the but was the parents.
Oh no.
You know how sometimes your parents have very strong ideas about what you should or should not do for your studies? And, they're usually worried about your future, even if it doesn't always sound that way. Well, my mom had some strong concerns too. She was really afraid I'd be a starving artist if I studied animation. She did let me apply to animation universities, and I actually got accepted. But then she'd say things like, "Are you sure you want to be an artist? You would have to work so hard. You're so good at languages. Why not that? There's no competition there. In art, you would have to fight a lot."
That sounds stressful. If you're watching this and someone has ever made you doubt something you liked, you're not alone.
Yeah, I was a very shy kid. And she was good at bringing out the arguments that would make me feel not very confident. But a career in languages, like she was suggesting, wasn't gonna be a breeze either. And honestly, not made for shy kids. I just didn't know it yet. But you know what? I went for international relations. That old diplomacy summer camp I had done before made it look like a really cool future.
Oh, but you're not in international relations now, are you?
Yeah, not at all. But it was something I really, really liked, and it allowed me to discover something I love. To travel the world. I went to Greece, Japan, Spain, France, Korea, China, Turkey, and so many more other places. I got to see different parts of the world and taste new foods and meet people from all over.
Side quest. World tour unlocked.
You know what? I've also now made you Questy. So my animation journey never stopped.
Exactly. The path wasn't straight, but you still ended up there. Creating worlds and characters. For anyone watching, it's okay if your path looks more like a zigzag than a straight line. So, how did you get from shy kid to world travel to creating me?
Oh, so much more to say, Questy, but I think we can save that for our next conversation, don't you think?
You're right. I can't wait to hear more about it. If you're watching, here's something to take with you. You don't have to have one perfect answer to what you want to be when you grow up. Try things. Pay attention to what actually feels good to you. Collect experiences.
Yeah, and remember, the story doesn't just end because your plan changes.
We'll pick this up next time. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next part.
Stay tuned.